Hello guys, today we'll be reading The Apple Doll. Would anyone like to have a guess for what this book may mean? This is by Elissa Kelvin. The Apple Doll by Elissa Kelvin. Lizzie loved her apple tree. She loved to pretend it was a skeleton rattling in the autumn wind. A gingerbread bake with snowy frosting, a blossomy springtime cloud, a leafy summer circus. She loved to eat his apples. Apples for crunching, apples for munching, apples for applesauce, cider, and pies. The day Lizzie started school, she picked up her favorite apple of them all. It was round as a ball, warm as the sunlight, too happy to pack in her lunchbox. Lizzie rubbed the apple's freckled skin against her cheek. She told the apple a secret. "I'm scared to start school," she whispered. "What if I don't make any friends?" "I'll be your friend," Lizzie pretended the apple whispered back. Lizzie named her apple Susan and made her an apple twig body. Susan danced in the treetop. Lizzie called her mother. "Come down, you'll be late for school." "Here I am, Mama," said Lizzie. "And here's your sandwich and juice," Mommy said. "Now, why did you put that apple on a stick? It won't fit in the lunchbox." "That's okay," Lizzie replied. "I'm going to keep this apple. An apple won't keep forever," warned Lizzie, big sister. "It'll get all mushy and rotten." Lizzie drew a face on Susan. She held her up like a puppet and said, "Mushy? Rotten? Not me." Jill made a face of her own. "You're always pretending, Lizzie. School will be good for you. You'll make some real friends." Lizzie wasn't sure. As she sat in her new classroom and looked at all the strange faces, Lizzie wished she could run home and hide in the apple tree. She breathed in Susan's sweet smell and felt better. Susan was a small piece of her tree. "No food during class time, dear," said Lizzie's teacher. "Miss Maxwell, we wait until lunchtime to eat." "She isn't food," said Lizzie, showing Miss Maxwell Susan's smiling face. Miss Maxwell didn't smile back. "You toys during class either, except on sharing day. Please put your apple away now." At lunchtime, Lizzie took Susan out again. "Is that a doll?" asked a girl named Molly. Lizzie nodded. "Her name is Susan." "I like her leafy hair," said Molly. "Susan needs a haircut," yelled a boy named James, snapping off Susan's stem. "She needs clothes," said a girl named Kate. Lizzie wrapped her napkin around Susan's twiggy body. She had a dress, she said. "Why don't you play with a real dog?" asked Kate. "And an apple's a silly dog." "Her brains are apple seeds," said James. Lizzie felt like crying, but Susan just smiled peacefully. "You don't have to go to school anymore," Lizzie told Susan later that day. "But you do need new hair." After a hug and a snack, Lizzie gathered some scraps of yarn. She gave Susan soft brown hair and a ride on her dragon and some bright clay animals to play with. Lizzie hoped Susan would never be lonely while she was at school. But Lizzie was lonely while all the kids played. The weather was colder. The family was busy baking and canning and drying apples for winter. "This will be delicious when all the fresh apples are gone," Mama said. "Your own apple isn't looking too fresh, Lizzie," Jill said. "Why don't you make another doll? Out of stock or something?" "I don't want another doll," said Lizzie. "I wish Susan would last forever." Maybe you could freeze her with the pies, said Jill. Lizzie shook her head. Susan would hate it in the freezer. You can plant her in the ground, Jill suggested. After a while, her seeds would take root and she would grow into a baby apple tree. But I don't want to plant Susan, Lizzie said. I couldn't hold her if she was a tree. You can climb her, said Jill, and eat her apples in the fall, and every spring she'll blossom. Lizzie thought about that as she watched Papa skin apples for drying. Suddenly she had an idea. Could we dry Susan? She asked. Why didn't I think of that? Said Mama. My grandma made me a dry apple doll when I was small. And it didn't get mushy or rotten, asked Lizzie. Never, Mama said. We had to peel Susan first, but don't worry. I think you'll like watching her change. Lizzie helped Mama peel Susan and gave her a new face. Now we'll soak her in lemon juice, bath so bugs and worms won't eat her, said Mama. And then we could dry out for a week or so. Each day, Susan got a little more wrinkled and smiley. She smelled as fresh as ever, even though apples and lemons together. One morning, Lizzie gave her cotton hair, blue bead eyes, a lace shawl, and a bendable new pipe cleaner body because her old twig body was feeling a little bit stiff. Wow, said Mama when she saw her. Susan looks better than new. She looks old, said Papa, and very happy and strong. She looks like a little grandma, said Jill. You should show her off at school, Lizzie. It's sharing day today, added Mama. What if the kids tease her? Asked Lizzie. Jill held up Susan like a puppet. Tease such a strong, happy, wise woman, she asked. Never. So Susan returned to school. This is my apple doll, said Lizzie, when it was her turn to share. What an unusual doll, Miss Maxwell said. Where did she come from? She came from my apple tree, Lizzie began. She used to be an apple, and she's still an apple, but we dried her, and now she's real, exclaimed Molly. She looks alive. I wish I had a grandma doll, said Kate. I want an apple grandma, yelled James. Your doll is very intriguing, Lizzie, said Miss Maxwell. How would you like to teach us how to make an apple people for our art project tomorrow, Lizzie? Lizzie smiled. You start with apples. The next morning, an apple sat on everyone's desk. Apple people soon danced through the classroom. Apple people everywhere. Wow. Lizzie and Susan had many new friends to play with at their tree. Wow. And spring and summer, autumn and winter, and they always had each other too.